AITA for wanting my son to move back closer to his family? I am not the original poster. That is you, loving mom 12. She posted in r, am I the asshole? Mood spoiler. A positive ending. Less than. Original post. February 13th, 2023. Hi. This is my first post on Reddit. And English is not my language, so I apologize for the mistakes I will probably make. I'm 56F and I live with my husband. 64M. We only have one son. 33M. Who currently lives abroad and we see once a year, as it's very far away and expensive to go. We live in a small town. He moved away when he was 18 for college and never came back. We expected him to move back after he graduated, but he decided to stay where he was. Since he already had a job and a girlfriend there, they got married. Our town is close to our state's capital where his work field is very strong. Ever since his senior year in college, I've been trying to convince him to move closer for a better career and to stay close to his family. He never showed interest, which I find it odd, especially since his wife also works on the same field. 4 years ago, they moved abroad. I felt betrayed when he told me he was already living 3 hours away from us. Why would he choose to go even further to another country, but not the city right next to us? I never told anything besides let them know me and his father are always here if they needed us. Until recently, things were fine. I miss him a lot. We text every day but we don't get to speak to each other often. The problem is my father, 84M, whose health took a dive and is very fragile. And with my son living so far, he is missing a precious time he could be spending right here. His granddad is not likely to live many years now. I told the news to my son and he was sad about it. And he came to see us and left a week ago. I was honest with him. I said his grandfather will not stay with us for so long. And since he lives so far away, he will lose the opportunity to stay close and enjoy the time he has left. He was not happy about me touching this matter. He said I was trying to guilt him into moving back. I asked him why he was doing this to me. Why doesn't he miss me and his dad? We are getting old and he is only seeing us once or twice a year. It's cruel to us. He said he missed us. But he is happy where he is and does not plan on moving back. And he and his wife are already making plans on buying a house where they live. I couldn't take it and I burst out crying. I told him I felt abandoned, that he didn't seem to care for us and he should enjoy his family while he can because we will not be here forever. I asked what makes him think he cannot be happy living here. He didn't respond. The few days after this were very awkward and after he left, he seems to be even more distant, avoiding me and being very short on his texts. Yesterday his wife called and said my son was feeling bad and told her what happened. She called me an AH and said I had no right trying to manipulate him like that. And I should be ashamed. I don't think I'm the AH for wanting my son closer to me. They are the AH for abandoning family behind. And I'm including her as well, since she did the same. I talk to her mother often and she is on my side. Edit 1. All edits happen on the same day or the day after it was posted. I didn't realize we could edit the original post. I just want to add some information. I'm not asking my son to sell his happiness just to be by my side. I just can't see why he needed to be so far away. While he and his wife could have wonderful careers around our area, they could earn more money while staying close to family. It's illogical for me to think about anything different. 2. Some are under the impression I gave up my life to become his mother. And that's not true. I had my own career. And a good one. I worked hard to give my son the best I could. I retired 6 years ago. 3. I realize there is a very strong cultural background where we come from. Family is expected to stay close. My son was the first member of my family that decided to move to somewhere so far away that makes visitations once every 2 weeks or even once a month impossible to do. 4. I don't expect to be taken care of when I get old. Me and my husband already talked about this. And unless my son wants to, we will not ask him to take care of us. 5. Just to clarify, I am not Indian. While I love India and I've been there once with my husband, I just want to clarify I'm South American. My son currently lives in North America. Edit 2. I think I'm getting it. It's really cultural. Most people here seem to be from the USA. And I understand it's really normal for families to be separated after children move to college. And they see each other just once a year at Christmas or Thanksgiving. For example, I was raised to believe families should stick together. I raised my son to have the same values. And I expected him to keep this tradition, but has broken it. It's not his fault, but I will never understand this decision. Edit 3. This will probably be the last time I'm editing the post. I realize that I will never understand my son's motivations to move away. And I will also never understand why he broke free from our culture of family closeness. No, I am completely unable to see the world how he does. And I just have to accept it. I am still feeling abandoned, neglected, and I'm resenting his decisions. I think he is ungrateful and I will probably rethink our will. That said, I have to accept he adopted a new culture. And that is just who he is now. He changed. And I'm not able to change him back. So I take the judgment. And I will work with what I have from now on. Just to add some extra info, I'm rethinking my will because why should I leave everything for him? Since he chose to be far away? His cousins are all nearby and they help us when we need them. I'm closer to them now than I am to my son. I'm not taking him off the will. I'm just not going to leave everything to him. He gets to live where he wants, far away from us. And I get to choose whoever goes on my will. Choices, right? Edit 4. I am not writing him off my will. I was angry, frustrated and sad when I wrote that. I never expected him to give up his life for me. All I want is my son to be close to his family. That's just it. I don't know why it's so difficult for you people to see my point. My son had everything he could possibly need to be successful, start a family and still stay close. But he chose to move to another country. How am I supposed to feel? I am proud he is a good professional, a good husband, and I'm happy to have helped him pave this road. Still, I think he is a horrible person for choosing to stay away. To be honest, he didn't even need to live right next to us. He could have simply stayed 3 hours away. This way we could at least visit him often, or plan any activities together. All you people say is, his decisions, his life, his choices. I get it. But how is it so easy for you all to dismiss where I'm coming from? Why did he need to go to another country? Yes, I am assuming he did that just to stay away from us. Which makes him a horrible son. As clingy as I may be, I come from a place of love. I've always let him know I love him. And I've always thought about the best for him, but at the same time, am I really this wrong to expect some closeness? He never starts conversations. I'm the one who sends the texts if I don't tell him the news about his relatives. He doesn't ask. How am I supposed not to feel abandoned? Seriously? I don't know what else to say. Edit 5. Lots of comments asking why don't I move closer to him instead. I will not do to my own parents what he is doing to me. Even if I didn't have my parents, I'm unable to get a permanent visa. OOP is voted YTA. Update post. July 14, 2023. 5 months later. Hello. I wanted to provide you all with an update since my original post gained a lot of attention and sparked various discussions. Some were unfortunately rude and disrespectful. Since my last post, I Improved relationship with my son and his wife. Switched therapists. Started treatment for my anxiety and depression. Lost my father. Things started to turn around when I decided to change therapists and went on a few sessions with the new one. Their approach allowed me to come to terms with the fact that my son's values, perspective on the world, and life objectives will never align with mine, and that's okay. It was a tough realization, but an important one. During therapy, I also discovered that my anxiety was way more off than I thought, and I never treated it. I started taking medication. After a few months, I was feeling a lot better about my son living away from me. Moreover, my therapist helped me understand a crucial aspect of my life. I had been living under the weight of guilt, giving up on so many plans for the sake of my own parents. A silly example? When my husband and I got married, I wanted to get a cat, but my father always hated cats. I thought to myself, my father despises felines. It wouldn't be fair to him to have a cat in our home. What if they come to visit? I wouldn't be a good daughter. When I recounted this story to my therapist, they were shocked on how normal I thought that was. This was just one of many instances where guilt dictated my decisions. Both of my parents were masters at instilling guilt, and I had internalized it over the years. Main point of the original post. I wanted my son to continue living close to me. He didn't. In my misguided attempts to enforce my desires, I resorted to guilt-tripping him repeatedly. It's how I've been taught. It's what I knew. I now see how wrong and unhealthy that behavior is. While I may never fully understand or relate to the idea of living far away from family, still hurts. I've come to accept that this is my issue to grapple with, not my son's burden. I am determined to confront this challenge alone and refuse to allow it to dictate my happiness. After my father passed, it happened suddenly. My son wanted to come to his funeral, but it would be so exhausting for him, not to mention expensive, so I told him there was no need to come. He could stay and we would get together and remember Grandpa another time. I was surprised with myself. In other times I would have guilted him into coming as fast as he could. In conclusion, I want to thank those who were respectful for the wake-up call and the discussions that unfolded. From my initial post, it has been an enlightening journey of self-discovery and growth. I'm committed to continuing my progress and learning how to prioritize my own well-being while respecting the autonomy and choices of those around me. Edit. Same day. Thank you everyone for this awesome reception of my post. I wasn't expecting this much love. I want to take some time and reply to each comment, but I'll address one point that everyone seems to be commenting. Yes, my husband and I will adopt a cat. We need to secure our house first. We plan on keeping it indoors for its safety, so we will catify the environment the best we can. I've been watching a lot of Jackson Galaxy videos. I was reading the post thinking, she's probably just doing what her parents did to her. Turns out, yep, that was right. I'm glad about the growth she experienced. It shows you are never too old to mature and become better. You just need to put in the effort. I think it's okay that her views don't align with her son's. They are different people after all. That she is accepting that even though it's not perfect and what she wants, she's still willing to compromise to make not only herself happy and her son. They should get 2 cats! Exclamation mark. As an Indian, Oop could have been my mother or any of my aunts. My mom and I went through something very similar when I moved away to another country. Fell in love and married someone from here, and chose to stay. After similar tensions, I'm happy to say she and I are in a much better place now. It's true that Asian, until some South American, societies can be very collectivist. Not individualist. The interest of the individual must always be sacrificed for the interests of the family, community. This comes with advantages. Family will almost always be an available safety net when you're going through emotional, financial, physical challenges in life. But in return, your family will expect to have an outsized influence on big decisions like marriage, children, career, lifestyle, caring for your parents, grandparents, sometimes extended family. And that influence could also vary based on whether you're a son or a daughter. Are you the firstborn, etc.? I feel for OOP's son. I assume the level of control and expectations, love, and bonds, was high enough that he felt the only way to escape was to move miles away where his family couldn't visit. I don't blame OOP either. This kind of cultural conditioning and generational trauma is difficult to root out, let alone unpack and reverse. It's insidious because it beats down an individual's sense of self to the point they can't identify where they gave up bits of themselves for the sake of everyone around them. And they essentially take on the personality, values, and priorities of the group, family. It's hard to understate just how much OOP must be working to reverse this in therapy. Hats off to her. I hope she and her son have a much better relationship going forward. What a great update. I really appreciate that she admits that it still hurts and she will never understand where he is coming from, but that she has grown to accept it. If only more people could have such strides with personal growth and self-reflection. Edit. I especially love that she is going to finally get her own kitty. That turnaround in thinking is close to amazing. I'm very happy for her. When I started reading, I immediately suspected the OOP to be either Latina or Indian. I was right when she said she was Latin American. Source. I am Latin American, born and raised there, and I emigrated farther away from my parents than OOP's son. The guilt trip is a feature, not a bug, of many Latin American mothers. And there is a very strong cultural expectation that you as a son, daughter stay close and take care of the parents, especially when they are elderly. It's even worse for the daughters, as they are seen automatically as caretakers. Even in less traditional families, it can be pretty toxic, as some parents assume that they have the right to control your life even after you move out and start your own family, and society will support them because they are your parents and you owe them respect. Basically, you are their property, in a way. For my mother, it was hard to accept in the beginning that I wasn't going to move back. But she told me that she couldn't take away something she wasn't able to give to me. She missed me and misses me a lot, but she has mostly accepted it. She looks forward to the packages I try to send for Xmas, which usually arrive in February even if I send them at the end of October, and to my yearly visit, even though she sometimes tries to guilt-trip me to stay all the time with her. And I have to remind her that I actually have a life beyond her. I was pleasantly surprised that the OOP went to therapy and managed to break the toxic expectations. And finally understood, even if she still struggles with it, that her son is his own person with a life of his own, and what she thinks is the best for her son is not necessarily the same as his son thinks. Many Latino parents think that therapy is only for crazy people and would rather die than try it, and risk being ashamed in front of the rest of the family and the neighbors. Social pressure is a thing there. So, more power to OOP. Also, I love that she will adopt a cat. It's still not too late to take control of her own life. That's a good update. Respect for OP doing some self-reflection and not doubling down themselves furthermore. Shows that people can still grow and mature anytime. I really thought this was going to be a slight variant on the crazy lady who wanted to sue her son and be for grandparent rights. Good on Oop. Both cats and boundaries are fabulous to have. Ah, I'm so glad for her. I really doubt her son would have a better career and better salary in the capital of her province, state. Less than he moved away for work, so I'm sure he is doing a lot better. I mean, they were looking to buy a place. Oop can also visit. I have a hard time with stuff like this, and I think it's because of my personal spot with my kids. I have moved 3 provinces away. 3 days drive from my parents, and my mom moved across the Atlantic to marry my dad. So moving away isn't weird in my family, but right now, my kids are 21 and 14. My oldest is still at home since moving out is so insanely expensive. And I can't imagine being so far from them. I hope it's something that will come with age. Of both me and my kids. In case they ever want to move away. But with the economy this way, I might not ever have to worry about it. As the North American wife of a South American man, this is 100% on brand. I live on a different continent from my family. It's hard. And my mom in particular wants me to move back. After 20 years. And will teasingly, passive-aggressively mention it in most of our conversations. I've told her quite explicitly, many times, that moving back to my home state would make me miserable. For a lot of reasons. She thinks me being there would make her happy. But of course it's impossible to make another person happy. She'll still have all her same everyday problems. And I'd just be there feeling resentful. It's great to see that Oop could change her views on the situation, improve her overall mental health, and finally shift some of the guilt and responsibility she felt around her own parents. Plus cats. Who could ask for a better ending? I feel this so much. My brother and I both moved to a different country, and the only sibling left close to my parents is the one sibling who they always butt heads with. There's certainly a lot of guilt, especially when they are getting older. But we also gotta do what we can for our own families. Both my brother and I are married, and I'm expecting. And I can't imagine living in the same country I was born in. While I love my folks and feel guilty, I can never imagine raising my child there. I hope she comes back and has kitten pictures and her son visits and everyone hugs and has a good, healthy adult talk. Major kudos for her on taking the steps to get a new therapist and to work on herself. I wish my mill would. Because oh God, we used to have these discussions. We don't have them anymore because I'm so LC, it's basically NC. So I know how it feels for her son. I guess if you're a Westerner, Op seems crazy. But I empathize a lot with Op actually. I wouldn't be surprised if in OP's culture, Op would be considered NTA. I was raised in the US but have Indian family. Staying close to family is such a strong cultural tie that I often struggle to explain it to my non-Indian friends. There's a large social expectation for attendance. When my cousin had a middle school graduation party, I couldn't not go. Not going would have been seen as disrespectful to my uncle and aunt. Same with my mom's cousin's son's wedding. I barely know the guy, but I had to go. In the sense that it'd be a social faux pas for me to decline. Obviously different cultures have different values, but it's something I personally really struggle with balancing. As I imagine the kids of most immigrants struggle balancing the values they were raised with versus the values they grew up with. Jesus Christ, this one hit home. This could have been written by my mother. I moved across the world from my home country and the guilt tripping was unreal. I wish my mother would go to therapy. I'm glad that, in the end, this person was able to find a way to heal. Wow, much respect for Oop. Look, I have 3 adult kids and I get it. I'm happiest going to bed Xmas Eve because everyone is under one roof. I miss them. I won't lie, but I saw with COVID and they were all back home, how much they need to get out and explore and build their own lives. It hurts. But you also have to be happy for them because that age is such an adventure. If they can go where they want to go and be happy, then that's really what I want as a mom.
If you enjoyed this video, please check out our playlists full of similar content. AITA is like doom scrolling for your ears. Please like, share, and subscribe.